Holiday here.
And we are recording.
Great. Welcome everyone to General Government. I'll give it just a couple seconds, make sure no one else is coming in. How's everybody?
Awesome.
So tonight we're taking a look at the budget. We had put out budget changes for consideration back at the end of May. And a few of those we said we would reassess in September to decide if we're going to roll to next year or do this year. So I thought it would be a good time in advance of that to take a look at where we stand financially. We have been keeping quite a close eye on things this year. Paula, you sent 2 reports. Can you explain what the 2 reports are that you sent?
I sent the year-to-date up until today.
Mm-hmm.
So all of our, mostly just general fund, because that's the main issue or problem areas, potential problem areas. So it's really year-to-date and then the percentage compared to what we budgeted. And I think I sent the trial balance as well, didn't I?
What we budgeted for the whole year or where we were at this time last year?
Well, I did it for what we budgeted for 2020, where we were for April 30th when we had our first look, and then where we are now, and then the percentage of a change on there as well.
Okay, so total income, we're 21% below the budget, but that's not necessarily going to be the case at the end of the year, is what you're saying?
Correct. Yeah,
so
we still got a long ways to go, and it seems like stuff like house sales are really starting to pick up, and building permits and tickets. So stuff is starting to pick up now, and people have paid their taxes quite well. And we still have a few more weeks, I think, until we send people to delinquent. So I think we're actually doing pretty well, I think. What was your opinion when you looked at it?
Yeah, it looks like the variance has gone down. I mean, we were projecting about $70,000 before, and it looks like it's going to be lower than that. Have we pulled in any reimbursements yet that we applied for?
Reimbursements that we applied
for COVID-related expenses?
Not as of yet.
Do you know how much we put in for?
I want to say it was between $7,000 and $9,000.
Okay, so that'll help.
And we didn't get much pushback, so I think that'll be coming sometime soon. I'll double check with Wes because we were just getting emails yesterday on that.
So where do you see the problem areas being? It's hard for me to tell because it's compared against the whole year's budget, and I don't know where we were at this time last year. And all of our normal timetables are going to be pushed back because tax collection was pushed back.
Right. But even tax-wise, we're doing pretty well. We're about 13% in the hole for that, which isn't much because we do anticipate getting a little bit more. Building permits is huge. That's a big gap. But like I said, that's starting to all come back now that people are actually allowing workers to come into their house. Where else did we pinpoint? Some of the police services, because Abrams isn't hiring the police to come. I know there was a church service that the police were using that they anticipated getting income from that they're not getting because they're not doing that. Inspection fees is down about 30%. Tickets, we're not getting, well, contributions from private sector, which would be like your yoga receipts, your 5K receipts. We're not going to have that, but still the rec board is holding their own pretty well. That's about it.
Okay, so bottom line, if I'm reading this correctly, if we didn't make any more money for the rest of the year, we'd be $314,000 deficit. But where all of those income areas are picking up that we just talked about, permits,
Yes.
real estate transfer taxes. So it looks like we're in the $25,000 to $50,000 range for
Yes,
a
absolutely.
projected deficit. Okay. So let's go over our budget recommendations and cost savings that we proposed back in April and see if there's anything we want to add or how we're doing on these. So removal of all training and conference related expenses except for police, that's done.
Mhm.
Police purchase of a new car was rolled to 2021, that's $10,000. Is that reflected in this budget?
Yes.
So you took that off of the expense side?
Let me double check and make sure the police. And I apologize because we got our QuickBooks updated, so merging everything was not fun.
Okay. And Kim, jump in, or anyone else if you have any questions. This is a collaborative meeting.
Mm-hmm. So the police vehicles. No, we did not take the vehicles out of this. I did not, of this one.
So that's good then, because
Right.
that's another 10,000 that we won't have this year.
Correct.
Street sweeping. Did you speak with them and cancel that for the summer?
Yep. Yeah, that's
Okay.
canceled for the summer, the fall, everything.
And was that pulled out of the budget, do you know?
No, it was not.
Okay, so that's another 1.5 or 1,500. All right, 25% reduction to the Parks and Rec budget, which was about $6,000. Do we know how we're doing on that?
That's, we're holding our own on that because we still got to take care of the parks and stuff. But
part of the money that is helping out, there's always a lot of obvious construction going on that doesn't have permits. I think if that were enforced, it would also help.
Okay, so Dr. Perlmutter is making a comment about income possible sources from permitting and code enforcement.
mm-hmm.
Our numbers there do look pretty good, but that's, thank you for the comment. Okay, so Parks and Rec, where we aren't on target to meet that 25% reduction then?
It's going to be close because there's always something going on with the tot lot, the parks. It'll be close, but he's watching. He doesn't do anything over and above that, what he's supposed to be doing. He asks all the time. So it's really just regular maintenance that he's taking care of.
Yeah, and we'll have to ask ourselves if we, I would hate to do this, but we want to reduce the number of trees purchased by Shade Tree.
Sure.
That's 600 a tree or something like that. Because I know they're under Parks and Rec. What is that total budget?
Let me find it. I thought it wasn't that much.
I just don't know where else we can cut there.
Yeah.
How much a year do they usually spend on trees?
That's what I'm looking to see where they are.
Not broken out by line item that I can see, but I thought it was like 12 trees at 600 a piece. I might be making that up, but I thought I saw that.
No, I think it's a lot less than that.
That's a lot of trees.
Yeah, it's a lot of trees.
It's definitely at least 12 trees, Cal.
Right, but I'm pretty sure it's not that much. And I might not have broken them out on here because like I said, with the new QuickBooks, we were... So it would be trees. Where is our shade tree? Because this is mostly general fund that we were looking at besides the rec. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can come back with that
Yep.
because what I have, it's blank there.
Right, because we haven't expended anything there.
Right. Okay, and then so the line items we were holding until September 30 were new doors for Borough Hall,
Mhm.
$8,000, and then the repairs to the annex roof, which were 15.
Yes, we got a couple quotes so far. 15 would be the high side.
So I guess we need to, determine if there's damage happening in either of the properties due to these quote unquote emergency repairs that need to be done, and decide if we need to do it this year out of the emergency fund. I mean, I know that we had significant leaking at the annex, but we put temporary patch there.
We did, but I think it would be in our building's best interest to at least move forward with that. To at least get those dormers and get the roof done. And the one quote I think I got was 12, 13, somewhere around there, and that was including with the dormers as well.
Right, and that was already budgeted for, so it wouldn't be in excess of what we just spoke about in terms of overages.
Yeah, the shade tree program, we budgeted $2,600 for that, but they haven't done anything. But I could pull them.
Yeah, so I guess at this point we need to ask if there's any line items where we just want to halt expenses for the rest of the year if we can. We're going to have a deficit this year, it seems. So we can try to limit that as much as possible. And then on 9/30, when we get the Q3 final numbers, we'll make a final determination on if we need to make any cuts. Does anyone have any comments?
Well, maybe they can focus on preserving the trees that are in Yardley. And I think she got some donated last year too. She seems pretty good at doing that.
Yeah, I certainly don't think the shade trees line item is going to save us here, but that is an important community service day. So I think I would like for there to still be a shade tree day where something is done for the trees in the town. So that's a good idea, perhaps pruning work or something like that, but that would require a professional. But again, I think we're talking about less than $5,000 there.
Right,
so
it's not much.
Any other comments?
No.
Yeah, quick question for you.
Yes.
Again here, please don't shoot the messenger.
No.
There was a discussion, I talked to a lot of neighbors, and one of the discussions that had come up was the concern about the auxiliary police force or the volunteer police force, the 10 members that we may end up taking up. The question was obviously the cost that was involved in that, because, we have 5 or 6 official officers who are Act 120 certified, and then we have 10 or 12 part-time officially certified Act 120s. The volunteer force is a whole different world with liabilities. The question was, in order to keep the police budget from blooming, could we create a line item for this auxiliary volunteer force? By doing so, you would separate it from the police budget. You would also appease some residents who are looking for clarity and looking for to determine how much this will actually cost. So this question came up amongst a half a dozen neighbors that I've been speaking with, and I don't know if that's a realistic possibility to separate out the cost so that we actually truly understand how much this volunteer auxiliary force would cost us. Currently, I mean, right now, if you were to have 10 events a year and you would have to hire on 10 police officers per event, you're probably looking about $16,000 per event.
So the auxiliary force, yeah, the auxiliary force is volunteer. I think we had Chief check on it and they are covered under our current insurance policy, but I will double back and make sure of that. We did just receive the first read of the police budget, and we're projecting very nominal increases in non-labor expenses, $625. I believe that includes training for the auxiliary force, but again, that's a good point. We do want to keep a pulse on what that's costing. So I will ask for a breakout of if that training is included or not.
The training, the uniforms. The last time we bought radios, I think it was $60,000 for Doylestown charged us for extra radios. And according to our ordinance, it says that we're going to provide uniforms and radio communications and training.
They're not going to be police radios. They could be something simple as a walkie-talkie.
That would be that help.
And they have to stay under the police budget because it's a police item. But I'm sure I can ask the chief about breaking it out. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that would be just helpful. And it might appease some of the concerns some of the neighbors have that I've been speaking with. That's all. Thank you very much.
And what I'm hearing from you is, as a citizen, you would perhaps like to see how much we're spending there in the budget that we publish online.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because we may have to do a comparison. We may have to do a comparison to see whether or not $16,000 a year we might spend on certified Act 120 police to help us out.
That's not $16,000 on auxiliary police.
Correct. I agree. You're right.
But the increases in salary may be what's happening because of the training of them.
No. Well, actually, my point is we have to, by having the real numbers, we can determine whether or not it's cheaper to hire on another police officer or cheaper to just keep the volunteers. Or maybe we should just, on those 10 events that we have during the year, hire on part-time police officers for the day. But
yeah, I know that Chief did perform some extensive cost comparisons to make, before he made the recommendation to council that we even adopt the ordinance for auxiliary force, but your points are well taken, and I think I will need to go back to Chief in formulating the budget just to really make sure we have a strong understanding of what percentage of the total is going towards that auxiliary. And I did hear Dr. Perlmutter, your point about if any pay increases are related to the auxiliary force. I do not believe so, but I will check.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions or ideas? So we'll plan to come up with another proposal for the last council meeting or maybe just a report for the next council meeting, and then we'll wait till we have, Paula, the Q3 numbers finalized to make any proposals on further cuts or expenditures.
Okay.
So that would be, I don't think we'll have them in time for October 1st, so that would be October 15th.
Okay.
And maybe see if Patty can come to that meeting.
Okay.
All right, great. Kim, any questions?
No, not right now. Probably lots of them, but I'm just listening.
All righty, I'll see you all in 9 minutes.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you, bye.